Good morning, dear students. Very hearty welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to teach you how to code two programs using while loop. So let's move on. So you can see the questions here. We have two programs with us. First question is write a function to print the table of a given number. The number has to be entered by the user. And the second question is write a program that prints minimum and maximum of 5 numbers entered by the user. So let's start with the first question. So the first question says you have to print the table, which is actually the multiplication table of a given number. And you have seen many a times that we have multiplication tables written in this way. And so on up to 10. So this is how a multiplication table is written, and actually what it returns is multiples of a given number. So you can see 2 multiplied by 1, 2, 2 multiplied by 2, 4. So 2, 4, 6, 8 up to 20. These all are the multiples of a given number. So how to generate multiples of a given number? So firstly, we need to figure out how we will be coding or what logic we would be applying over here. As you can see that we have two. Whenever 2 is the given number over here. Given number means the number whose multiplication table we have to print. So input will be the given number, and in this case the input is what? 2, as you can see over here. So it could be any number, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16, 35, any number which is our given number. So this number will be constant every time. Then you have some numbers. As you can see, these are counting numbers, that is natural numbers, and they are being incremented by a factor of 1. So these numbers are varying between 1 and 10. And finally, when I multiply this given number by each of these values, we would get the multiples of the given number. So here we need to ask for a value from the user. Then we need a loop control variable which will keep a track of all these changing numbers, and we will finally be multiplying that number with this I, that is loop control variable, to generate the multiples. So let us check out the logic. So first of all, I start with a flowchart over here. Start, because we need an input from the user, so we will be taking the input. Read a number n, okay, and we will be also assigning a value to a loop control variable. So we will write, or I'll use the term initialize I equals 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'll ask, is n less than equal to 10 or not? If the answer is yes, that means I'm going to print what? N multiplied by I. So I will print n multiplied by I. Then this is because this is to be printed, hence here I have simply taken an output box. Now I will increment the value of I by 1. So I will write equal to I plus 1, and again I will go back to the loop. So this loop will continue till the time the value of I is less than equal to 10. And the moment the value of I becomes greater than 10, at that point the program will end or it will terminate. Let's just do a dry run and see. So you can see read a number n. So let's take a number n and let's take its value as 3. So we have a number n and we have its value equals to 3. Then initialize I as 1 and check whether, okay, here you can see very well that I have committed a mistake. So with the help of a dry run, you can easily catch the mistakes or the bugs in your program. I will have to actually check whether I is less than equal to 10 or not. So I is 1, it is less than equal to 10, yes, and so it will print n multiplied by I. So what is n multiplied by I? 3, it is actually 3 multiplied by 1 which is equal to 3. So only 3 will be printed because this is the calculation part. Then I plus equal to 1. So over here I will be incremented. It becomes 2. Again we go back, check whether I is less than equal to 10 or not. If it is yes, again print. So now it will be 3 because 3 is n and I is 2. So 6 will be printed next. Then again I will be incremented. It becomes 3. It will again go back, check. Yes, 3 is less than equal to 10. 3 multiplied by 3 and print that and increment the value, let it become 4. Again check whether 4 is less than equal to 10. So this will continue till the time I reaches 10. So the moment, suppose after this statement is executed, there it comes a point where I becomes 10. We'll go back again, we'll check, and we have already printed all the multiples of 3, okay, and we will check is 10 less than equal to 10. Answer is yes. So we will again print n into I, that is 3 into 10 which is equal to 30. So 30 will be printed and again now I will become 11. Go back, is 11 less than equal to 10? Answer is no. So now the condition will be false and hence the program will be terminated. So this is the flow chart. Let us write the pseudocode and see. So I'm going to write the pseudocode here. Step 1. So I'm just writing 1 over here. Start. 2. Read a number n. Third, initialize I is equal to 1. Next, check if I is less than equal to 10. Or I'll simply write if I is less than equal to 10, then repeat steps, then go to steps, or I should write here, then execute steps 5 and 6. Otherwise, go to step 7. So now step number 5 is display n multiplied by I. Step 6 is update I equals I plus 1. And the seventh step is stop. So you can see very well over here that first we will start, we will read a number n, we will initialize I by 1, we will check if I is less than equal to 10. If it is so, then go to step 5 and step 6, execute both of them, that is display n into I and update the value of I. And okay, one more step I have missed over here, that is this should be go to step 4 and this should be step 8, and here I will write step 8. So now it would be clear to you, that is first do this, update the value of I, then go back to step 4. So this becomes a loop, execute step 4, check the value of I, if it satisfies the condition, again execute step 5 and 6, again go back to step 4, and if this condition is false, then go to step 8. That is over here. So we'll go to step 8 and that is stop. Now using this pseudo code, it would be easy for us to code the program. So let us code our program. So I'm going to open a new file and I will save it in the usual location where I save all my other programs, that is my Python programs, and I'm going to type here multiples of a number. So I'm just going to ask for the number from the user, enter the number, initialize I by 1, sorry, while I is less than equal to 10, print n multiplied by I and I plus equal to 1, that is I'm using the augmented assignment operator here, and end of program. This is end of program. Let us run this program and see. Enter a number 5 and you can see it prints all the multiples of 5 and finally it prints end of program. So let's do the dry run using the program also. So I'm just going to copy this code. So here we are. So you can see over here this program. So we will have already asked for the value n from the user. Let's take 5 this time. I've taken n as 5. This is my n. Then I is equal to 1. So I is already 1. I'll be taking this value. We come to while is I less than 10. That is 1 less than 10. Yes. Print n multiplied by I, which is actually 5 multiplied by 1, which is equal to 5. So this is the output that is 5. Then I plus equal to 1. So now I becomes 2. Again go back and check the condition. It is true. Again print 5 multiplied by 2, that is 10. Print its value. Again increment the value of I, it becomes 3, and this way it continues. And the moment it reaches 10, it becomes 10 over here. After, just imagine that after printing 5 nines are 45, that is somewhere here, 5 into 9, 45, I becomes 10. And it again goes back and checks the condition is still true because 10 is not less than 10 but equal to 10. Then 5 multiplied by 10, which is equal to 50, print the value, and now the value of I again increments and becomes 11. Check if 11 is less than equal to 10. It is not. So here the condition exits and these statements are not executed, and the program control directly reaches the statement which is immediately following the while loop block. So this is how we can print table. Now the question is, I have to print the table in this form. 5 into 1 equals 5. The usual way in which children learn tables. So how to do that? So here you can see that 5 is already the given number, that is n. This multiplication, it can be considered as the static part. Why? Because it can be taken as the alphabet X. Then this one can be fetched from the loop control variable I. This equal to will again be a static part because this will just be printed, and this would be actually n multiplied by I. So I can create my print statement in this way. Print n comma multiply comma, you can enclose it within single quotes or double quotes. I'm using single quotes this time. Then I, then equals also will be included within single quotes, followed by n multiplied by I. So this is my dynamic part, this is my static part, this is my dynamic part, this is my static part, and this is also my dynamic part. So whenever you have dynamic and static part both, you have to separate them with a comma. Now let us make this change in our program and see what our program gives. So we already have this, so I'm going to remove this n comma multiply comma I, n multiplied by I. And now we will run the program. We will enter any number over here. So suppose I enter the number 6, and you can see the table of 6 printed over here. So this is how you can write a program to print multiplication table of a number. Now let's see the second question. Our second question is, I'll just copy this question now. The second question is, write a program that prints minimum and maximum of 5 numbers entered by the user. So you have to print the minimum and maximum of 5 numbers entered by the user. So how to do that? So let us see the pseudocode first of all. So first step is start. Second step is, firstly I'm going to for this I need a loop control variable first of all. So I'll initialize I as 1. Next is I need an input, that is I need to take input from the user. The idea is every time I will read a number from the user and I am going to do something on it to find out what is the minimum and maximum out of it. So the logic here is, if I have 5 numbers, so suppose I have 5 numbers here, like so these are the 5 numbers which I have. Now simply as a human, if you look at it, so we have 5 numbers. Just by looking at these numbers, it is very easy to see that 90 is the largest number and 4 is the smallest number. But how will I make the computer figure that out? So for doing that, we need to start with two variables. First, I will tell you how to find out the minimum value. So here we will first consider that 55 is the minimum value, right? So we will take a variable named small, and we will initialize it with the value 55. That is the first value. Now the small is there, and next time, now we don't know which number would be entered next. So I'm just going to take that scenario over here, because what we will be doing is all these values will be asked from the user when the loop executes. So the program will ask for one value from the user and that value will be manipulated. So first time when the program executes it, it asks for a number and user gives the value 55. So we will be first of all, right in the beginning of the program, we will be initializing small with a very large number. Okay. So we will just take a large number, because right now what I have done is the program will start accepting the values a little later. Okay. Or one second, we can follow a different approach also. Fine. When the program first executes, I'm going to first initialize small with this number 55. Okay. Next time when the user enters another number 45, so small will be checked. Is small less than 45, sorry, greater than 45, or sorry, is small less than 45, or one second, I'll have to take it this way. Is 45 less than small? If it is so, then what we will do? We can see that 45 is not less than small. So we will move on to the next number, and suppose the next number is 90. We will again check, is 90 less than small? Now what is small? Small is 55. Is 90 less than small? Answer is no. Next, user enters 4. So we'll ask, is 4 less than small? So we can see that yes, the value of small is 55 and 4 is indeed less than small. So now we will assign 4 to small. Next time user enters say 11 and we ask, is 11 less than small? Now the value of small is 4 now. It's not 55 anymore. So answer is wrong. 11 is not less than 4. So it is not less than small. So at the end, now here my loop ends. So you can see that the variable small, it contains the smallest value out of all these values, and that value is 4. A similar technique we are also going to follow for when we have to calculate the maximum value. So first we will do it for finding the smallest value, or I'll explain you that also. So firstly, when 55 is entered, we will take a variable big and initialize this by 55. Next time user enters 45. So we will check, is big greater, sorry, is 45 greater than big? You can see that 45 is not greater than 55, so we will leave it and we will move on to the next, that is 90. Is 90 greater than big? Answer is yes. So we will write big equals 90. Then we will ask for a value 4. Is 4 greater than big? Answer is wrong. 4 is not greater, so nothing will happen. Then next is 11. Is 11 greater than big? Answer is wrong. That is 11 is not greater than big. So at the end you will see that big contains the largest value. So it is just like you have a container, or you check that is some students are made to stand in a line in any random order, and the teacher picks up the first student. So the first student is picked up and the first student is compared with the second student. Teacher wants to find out the student whose height is the smallest, who is the shortest person. So the teacher compares the first student with the second student. If the second student's height is less, so he will leave the first student and he will select the second student. So this way the teacher goes on comparing the student which he is holding with each of the students till he finds the smallest student. The same technique is followed for finding the tallest student also, right? So here what we are going to do is we are just going to write a pseudocode for this. So I'll just shift this somewhere. So here I'm going to start. So initialize I by 1 because we are going to do it in a loop. And the first thing is I'm going to initialize, also set small Okay, I'll take small a little later. First, I will read one number. Read a number from the user, that is n, and set small as n and big as n. So we have set small also as n and big also as n. Now we will check if we can actually start I from, okay, we can start I from 2 because first number we have already read from the user, right? So we will start if I is less than equal to 5, then we will go to step. So if I is less than equal to 5, yes, so if I is less than equal to 5, then go to step 6. So we will just do some hit and trial over here. Otherwise, go to step, and now we will just take that step as step X because we still don't know what is going to be the last step. So now next is, if this is done, we will be first asking for a value from the user now, that is read a number n. So we can use the same variable n over here, and then in the seventh step we will write if n is if n is less than small, then set small equals n. Okay, and same way eighth step will be if n is greater than big, then set big equals n. And the ninth step will be, now here ninth step would be go to step 5. So we again go to step 5, and we can clearly see in the 10th step we will be writing display small and big, and 11th step is stop. So we can clearly see that our step X is actually step 11. Let us do the dry run and see the answer. So before we do the dry run, we should first draw a flow chart and check whether it is going in the right direction or not. So we will start with start box. Now we will first of all set the values, that is I equals 1 and small equals, sorry, we will not take small right now. We will read a value from the user, read a number n. Now read a number n, and after the number n is read, we are going to set small as n and big also as n. Now we will start with our loop. Is I less than equal to 5? So if I is less than equal to 5, then we'll move on to the next part. That is, we will read another number from the user, read a number n. So we can use the same variable n, it will just be pointing to some other value now. Now we will check, is n less than small? If answer is yes, then we are simply going to write here small equals n. And it will move on to the next part, and if it is no, then nothing will happen, it will simply move on to the next part. And the next part says, is n greater than big? So if n is larger than big, that means we have to set big as n. So we will write big equals to n, and if it is no, then we will simply move on to the next part. So this is done, and once this is done, we will again go back to our loop because we need to read other numbers also. So we again go back and we go back to this area. I think we are missing out a step, that is increment and decrement of I. So that step is left, so we can make that change over here. So I'll just be adding another statement here, and that statement would be update expression, that is I equals I plus 1. And once this is done, we can go back and check the condition over here. Okay. And one more change had to be done, that is we had decided, we had started the value of I from 2 because the first value was already asked from the user, which was already considered as I equals 1. So the first iteration, we have, if we have to ask for 5 numbers, one number is already added. So now we have to ask for 5 minus 1, 4 numbers only, that is loop has to execute only 4 times, and we need to make that change in the pseudocode also. So this is my pseudocode over here, and I also have to make this change here. Display small and big has to be after that, but before that we will be having I update I equals I plus 1. So we have to do this, and now all our numbers are going to change. And here it will be go to step 12. So after setting the values of small everything, update the value of I and let I go back to this. So when we do the dry run, it would be clear. So here it is, and now once this is done, once my loop is terminated, that is if it becomes no, when this condition is false, then my program control will come down and over here I will be now printing the values. So now it would be print small and big and stop. Let's write a program first and then we will do the dry run. So we will take this pseudocode over here, and I'm just going to copy this pseudocode, and I will be using this as a comment line. I'm going to open a new program here. Control S for save. So I'm saving this over here as largest smallest value, and within triple double quotes I am going to print this value, print this pseudocode. So I'm going to just paste this, and here I'm going to cover this with a triple double quotes. So triple single quotes and triple double quotes, they are actually block comments. That is, they are used for writing multi-line comments, because I wanted the pseudocode on the screen to be able to write the program, because if pseudocode is in front of me, it becomes much easier to write the program. So now let's start with our program. So I is 2, then I have to read a number as number 3. So int input, I will write enter a number. Next step is set small equals n and big equals n. So small comma big equals n comma n. Or alternatively, I can also write small equals big equals n. So this way both small and big will be initialized with n. Now while I is less than equal to 5. That is, if I is less than equal to 5. So what has to be done? We have to go to step 6, that is read a number n. So again n equals int input, enter a number, and then if we have to check whether n is less than small or not, that is the step 7. If n is less than small, then small equals n, and if n is greater than big, then big is equal to n. Now over here I have not used if elif condition, right? Because I have to check all the numbers thoroughly, right? So after doing this, update expression I plus equal to 1, and this will go back to the checking the condition, and once the loop terminates, I will print minimum value is what small, and print maximum value is what big. Now let's take this program and let's do the dry run and see. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So I have pasted it here. So here is my code. So we start with I equals 2. So the value of I is 2. Then n, read a number. So I read a number 90. Small and big both are set to 90. So small is also equal to 90 and big is also equal to 90. While I is less than equal to 5. So yes, 2 is less than equal to 5. Read a number n again. So now the value of n, it was already 90. Now we are entering another value, and let's take the value as 75. Now is n less than small? Is 75 less than 90? Answer is yes. So small will become what? 75. Now I'm checking, is n, that is 75, greater than 90? That is big. Answer is false. So nothing will happen. Okay. Next is, now we can use elif condition over here, as I'm able to see. Then we will be incrementing the value of I now. So now I becomes what? 3. So again it goes back to the while condition. So is 3 less than equal to 5? Yes. Again read a number. So suppose the number entered is 12. So is 12 less than small? Now what is small? It is 75. Is 12 less than 75? Answer is yes. So now what will happen? Small will be equal to n. That is, small will be equal to 12. Is 12 greater than big? Big is still 90. Answer is no. So no change would be there. I will be incremented. It becomes 4. Go back and check. Yes, condition is true. Read another number. Say 100. Now is 100, that is n, is it less than small? What is small? It is 12. So is 100 less than small? Answer is no. So not, this statement won't be executed. Is n greater than big? That is 100 greater than big? Big is still 90. Answer is yes. So now big becomes what? 100. Again increment the value of I, it becomes 5. Go back. Yes, the condition is true. Enter a number. Say the number is 4. So is 4 less than small? So is 4 less than 12? Answer is yes. So now small becomes 4. Is 4 greater than big? Big is what? 100. Answer is no. So now no change would be there. So at the end you can see. So now I will become what? 6. When it goes back over here, I 6 is not less than equal to 5. So the condition will be false. and the loop will terminate here and it will come to this statement. So what is small? It is 4. As you can see, at the end of the loop, big and small are left with the smallest and the largest values respectively. So let us now that we have done the dry run, we have checked the authenticity of code without running the program. So we will now run the program. So we'll execute the program and now we enter a number. So suppose I enter a number that is 100. Then I enter a number 95, then I enter a number 120, then 45 and then 36. So you can see minimum value is 36 and the maximum value is 120. So this way you can find n number, you can enter n number of values and your program will give the smallest and the largest value out of them. So students, I hope in today's class you understood how to use loops to manipulate certain problems, how to solve certain problems which we used to do very easily on pen and paper, but with the computer it becomes a little difficult. So this program, please watch it carefully. Always first write the pseudocode, figure out the logic, write the pseudocode, draw the flowchart and then write the program. Then it would become a whole lot. Once you write the pseudocode, everything becomes very easy. Writing a program becomes a whole lot easier. So your 70% work is done once you have written the pseudocode and drawn the flowchart. So please practice and stay tuned to my channel for more content. Thank you.